hard to fool me. No. 'Cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yes. Yeah. Lead the way. I follow. No need to say. No. Where we are heading now, babe. I follow. To the edge of it all. To the edge of it all. So tell your good night. 'Cause I'll find a better one. Yeah. Susceptible now. Before the moment flies. Ooh. So tell your good night. 'Cause I'll find a better one. Ooh. Susceptible now. Before the moment flies. It's not a problem. No. 'Cause I know what I'm getting into. Yes. Yeah. And nothing can stop me. No. 'Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way. I follow. No need to say. Where we are heading now, babe. I follow. To the edge of it all. So tell your good night. 'Cause I'll find a better one. Yeah. Susceptible now. Before the moment flies. Before it flies. So tell your good night. 'Cause I'll find a better one. Susceptible now. Before the moment flies. Yeah, yeah.
All right, shout out to you gentlemen that are here. Let me pull my tie up so I can look decent for you gentlemen. Let's see what cologne. Oh, we got Scandal over here. Cologne of the evening is Scandal. It is by the same creators of Jean-Paul Gaultier, Ultra Male. So it's the same one. Yes, sir. All you guys that are over on Rumble, shout out to you guys over there. All you guys on Facebook, shout out to you guys over there. We got a great show tonight. It's a two-parter. First part, we're going to be talking about, let me pull it down a little bit. First part is going to be an interview with a friend of ours, family member of the show, Will the Thrill, and his experience thus far in Medellin, and how a certain situation turned out to turn ugly. And you guys might be interested in this. Like we put on the title, to where a Colombian woman tried to take out a life insurance policy on one of the passport bros. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We got an exclusive interview going on in a few moments. And also, shout out to you guys being here. Make sure that you guys only send blessings by way of the Cash App or the PayPal. And you guys, let's look over on Rumble. You guys are looking good on Rumble as well. So shout out to you guys. Let me close that. And let me close that window there. Don't need to have those extra windows on. And then we're going to do a reaction to a guy that got drugged and robbed in Medellin. Yes, this guy right here. Not Aaron, but let's pull this over. I mean, not in Medellin, but in Bogota. In Bogota, this just happened over the past few days. And it was this gentleman right here. He was the one that got, in other words. So we're going to be doing a reaction to his situation. So we got two men that we're going to be here for. So we're going to take time out in the beginning to give you guys some shout outs. Let me get all this pulled up. And once again, thank you guys for donating to the Cash App and to the PayPal. And let's make sure that you guys who are on Rumble, let me make sure that I give you guys shout outs, such as my man I Am. Shout out to you, I Am FF in the building. Shout out to my uncle Ghostface that's over there on Rumble right now. Shout out to my man Don, the JP, over there on Rumble. Shout out to all you gentlemen over there. Put my earpiece in right now. Yeah, I'm going to be bringing Will up in a moment, so I won't be doing too much babbling. But just like on the last live stream that we did, man, why am I sounding like that? I just realized how maybe it's the earphones. Hopefully, it's just the earphones. Hope I'm sounding good to you guys. Let me push this back in. Oh man, that does not sound good. How do I sound to you guys? It sounds like a. Thank you, Don. How do I sound to you guys? Do I sound clear? Do I sound as far as the microphone is concerned? Because I'm hearing myself sound. Yes, and Dave says hit that like button. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to my man El Monte in the building. Yes, we're going to do the horse riding tonight. We're going to show the horse riding video. Okay, thanks, Will. Thank you very much. So it's got to be my earpiece, and I'll accept that from the earpiece compared to it being the. Okay, thanks, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I said, we're not going to be long in regards to the intros because we are going to be bringing my man Will up, and he's going to be telling his story in regards to his short experience in Medellin thus far, his experience with the lady in Medellin, and what lessons we can learn. So we're going to take the first, like I said, we're going to take at least the first 30 minutes to an hour, hear what Will has to say. And then, guys, you also want to hang around for the part 2 because we're going to be talking about what happened to this gentleman in Medellin. He's going to be sharing his story, and we're going to be listening to my man Aaron of the Passport Bro app. Shout out to you guys that are part of the app. And he's going to be sharing his story as well. So I'm going to give a couple of shout outs to you guys that are here right out the gate. Once again, Ghostface, we got J3 in the building. Shout out to you guys. And let me get that link over there for our Rumble too. Let me get hey, shout out to Tevin King for donating over there on Rumble, showing some love and support, becoming a member. We got 11 people over on Rumble already. Oh, yes. Yes, you guys are blessings, man. We already got 120 subscribers over there. Click the like button if you guys don't mind over there on Rumble. Oh, we got 5 people already clicked the like button. Shout out to you guys. And so I'm going to be sharing throughout the night. I'm going to be sharing that Rumble information. If you guys are, shout out to all you guys, such as Tevin King. Make sure you guys subscribe to Andrea's channel. Make sure that you do that. Andrea Wallace TV. Yes, it is. It's just Andrea Wallace. And make sure that you subscribe. And if you guys still have the links to the Rumble and to our other YouTube channel, subscribe at Love Crossing Borders. If you guys still have those, please post those up for us. If you don't, I'm going to go and pull that information up for us in a moment. But right now, I want to bring our special guest up. Let me move myself out of the way. And I'm going to bring my man Will, the Thrill, up. Shout out to my man Will in the building.
Hey, can you hear me?
There we go. There we go. You good.
Yeah, you hear me? You hear me pretty good?
Yep, I hear you pretty good, brother. Loud and clear.
All right. Let me take the glasses off so it won't be no glare.
There you go, Will.
That glare going on and stuff. Hey, much blessings to everybody. Brother Dre, the chat fam. Definitely, me and Dre talked for a good hour today. So
yes, we did.
Woo! I tell you brothers got to be careful. You got to be sharp.
Okay, Will, before we get started, let guys know where you currently are right now.
So I am currently in Medellin. I'm staying in Laureles. Initially, when I came here, right, I was with the woman that I was seeing for the last 20 months. But as a precursor, I got trust issues. So right. I already had an Airbnb on deck just in case, because you just never know. If you're in another country, brothers, if you're traveling, regardless, always have that backup plan. Do not, I repeat, depend on no woman for your salutation.
So have an extra Airbnb, like we often mentioned on the show, like you were saying. Yeah. Keep going, Will.
So I was dating this female for basically 20 months, and thought she was cool and everything like that. Come to Medellin every 2 months, thinking like, okay, that's cool. However, right, I would say probably about maybe 7 months before I actually got to Medellin to live here, I noticed that the communication kind of decreased. Uh, just kind of things you got to look out for. Like if
So this
you're
is right before you
doing,
came. I'm sorry, Will. So this is right before you got ready to come down. She already knew you were about to retire from your job in the States. You're about to move down here. And then all of a sudden, after 2+ years of communicating with each other, she all of a sudden started being kind of funny style with the communication, correct?
exactly, just, like one of the things that kind of took me, because, if women you've been dating for a long time, women are always lovey-dovey. But all of a sudden, she stopped saying, I love you in text. Stop saying, I love you in the morning and stuff like that. She would just say, hey, have a great day. Some stuff like that. And,
Wow.
maybe to the average person, they might think, oh, okay, she having a bad day. No, you need to look at that as a sign like, okay, something's going on. Don't question that right away. Take your time. Because, see, you want to give yourself some time to observe what's going on with that individual. Okay, you want to see the decrease in the activity of that individual. You want to see if they are being who they say they are. And where I'm going with that, right? So I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of background. So as an intelligence officer, right, you don't always get all the information right up front. You have to take your time to assess the what you say situation, even from a human, as we call it, human intelligence standpoint. So it might take you 6-7 months to figure out what a person is trying to do. So you don't want to alarm them, but you want to take notes. You want to take notes of the activity of what they're doing. It might sound what you say. Y'all might say, hey, this is sound like, okay, some crazy stuff. Sound like, it's doing too much. But no, this is the kind of stuff that's going to save your life. Because if you don't take heed to this, all right, I'm telling you right now, there are certain things that will pass you up that shouldn't be happening. All right. So I noticed over maybe 7-6 months, this person's not saying I love you as often as she does. Now, mind you, I haven't done anything wrong. I have not changed who I am as a person. And let's be honest, okay? I ain't that that what they call it, the PayPal brother, or the what you say that pop that
Western
what you
Union
say Western
Poppy.
Union Poppy. I ain't that Western Union Poppy type guy. But at the end of the day, right now, if it was some trips that we was going on, I paid for that up front. That's because that was something that was already, discussed that we was going to do. That's kind of how it is. Hey, look, I don't expect for you to pay it. I pay it. But all that extra stuff, no, I'm not doing that. So as we get closer to me coming and stuff like that, some of the things I noticed, right? I'm thinking to myself like, okay, I'm coming down. Here it is. I'm basically, my last day of work is July 26th. Well, I'm sorry, July 25th. I flew down July 26th. And, let's be honest, there should be some excitement. Okay. We've been dating for the last, 20 odd months plus. There should be some excitement and everything like that. However, that is not, something that I noticed. But you don't want to take what you say heed to that first. You don't want to start what you say question that person right away. Still give yourself some time to assess the situation, see what's going on. All right. That's the thing you need to do. You need to give yourself some time to see what's going on. All right. So one of the things that if you look at it in the Bible, it's always say, quiet waters run deep. It do, man. Quiet waters run deep. A lot of times you don't even have to do anything. People tell you who they are if you give yourself that time to just take your time, listen to what they have to say, and don't make no assumptions from that. But always put that in the back of your mind. There's some stuff that's going on that needs to be, taken into account. So, with that being said, moving forward and stuff like that, some of the things I started to notice, like, over the, few months that I was there coming down, like I said, I was coming down every 2 months. And some of the things, like even if she had to do something with her mother, I would go there with her, and it wasn't a problem. But all of a sudden, during this time when I came down, because I'm living here now, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got an emergency thing. I got to do this with my mom. Oh, I got an emergency thing. I got to do this with my mom. Oh, that wasn't normal behavior. Even though you might think that that's something little, that's not something little. But mind you, now just like 2 days ago, we didn't get into it. I just listened. But what she said was, hey, I need a copy of your passport. I said, why do you need a copy of my passport? You ain't my wife. She said, well, I got this life insurance policy and I want to make sure that I add you to my family. And I said, well, let me see the life insurance policy. Okay, let me see what you using that for. Okay, here's the key thing. Here's the red flag. Now, you expect me to give you my life insurance policy. I'm sorry, you expect me to give you my passport, but you're not willing to show me the life insurance policy. Ask that twice, like, hey, I need to see it. Oh, well, you don't need to see that. Oh, you don't need to see that. All right, from that point right there, there's no need to talk. Gentlemen, if women come shady and request things from you and not willing to freely give that to you, your best bet, don't even ask questions. Don't explain why. Like Andre always said, you ninjas cannot be afraid to walk away. You know what I did? Away. You know what I did? Like I told Drake, I said, Drake, I packed up all my shit from the time when she said, oh, I'm going to spend time with my cousin. I packed up all my stuff and went straight to my Airbnb. Was not dealing with that. Because here's the thing, right? You cannot put yourself in a position where these chicks are playing the long game. Now, even though we got the scopolamine, now we got to worry about stuff like this. Because you thinking this is a chick that you've been trusting over all this time, thinking like, oh, she got your best interest at heart, when she really don't have your best interest at heart. Okay? I'm talking to the taxi driver as I'm going to the Airbnb, and he's like, sir, that's not normal. That ain't, he said, look, y'all supposed to work that together. And the fact that she didn't even want to show you, he said, that just sounds suspect as I don't know what. Gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, right? I don't trust any woman, and nothing against any women that's in this chat. Until you prove yourself, verify, I will put you to the test and see who you are. Just like, the whole point is, like I was telling Brother Andre today, I was like, she wanted to go to the Flower Fest. So I played stupid like I was broke, like, hey, I ain't got no money. Hey, trust me, brother man paid. But the fact that we get to the, she said, okay, well, we'll just go back to the house, no problem. So we on the metro, all right? We get back to the city or where we supposed to go to the house, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh, I'm going to hang out with my cousin. Look, nah. That ain't how it's supposed to be. If a chick ain't saw you but every 2 months, and y'all been dating for that long period of time, and she feel like she got to go hang out with her cousin all of a sudden, that's a bad move. Move forward, move on. Don't even look back. Keep it real. Go forward. Because I'm going to tell you right now, right? You guys got to understand something. You are the hot commodity when you come down here. And these chicks, I'm telling you, these chicks think that brothers or American men are stupid. And the whole point is that we ain't stupid. I'm trying to put you up on game, all right? These chicks will play that long game, acting like they care and stuff like that. But trust me, they don't just start acting like that right away. Just like I told Brother Drake, I said, man, I started seeing this like 6 to 7 months, before I started to retire. That's when you got to start paying attention. That's when you got to start taking notes. Guys, write down the stuff. Don't think, oh, my girl won't do that. She been doing it. She been calling me every day. Guess what? My girl called me every day too. She called me every day. She called me. She wrote me in the morning. All right. She wrote me before I got, I went to bed. But one of the things that I started seeing over the last, 3 months is her lack of even contacting me, to say good night. You got to look for those little things. Is those little things might not make sense then, but trust me, they do make a lot of sense.
Absolutely correct. I'm glad that you mentioned that in regards to the little things that change. 1 minute you'll see that person is supportive and they're happy to see you. That is a sign. He's absolutely correct. If a person is showcasing that, all of a sudden they become funny style and they start acting iffy. And this is not the first time I've heard this. We got 44 people in the building. Click the like button and do me a favor, guys. Subscribe to the Rumble, because half the show is going to be here. The rest of the show is going to be on Rumble. So if you're not subscribed to Rumble, you're going to miss the other part where we talk about the guy that got drugged in Bogota. The guy that got drugged in Bogota. So we have that story coming up, as well as another gentleman that got drugged in Medellin. So we got a couple of stories coming up in regards to this. But Will's situation was not about drugging. It was about the fact that the person was playing the long game. I'm going to say this again. A lot of times you guys see us talk about the long game, how these women now are not trying to coerce you overnight. A lot of times they're trying to get you and hold you down for a few months or a few years. And then once they really need you, that's where they come on the attack. And in Will's case, as he was just saying, now that he's officially retired, now that he's here in Colombia, this woman actually asked him for his passport so she could take out an insurance policy on my man. Just think about it. A woman who you haven't seen on a regular basis for it, but for the first time now, and within the first couple of weeks of you actually living in a country, this woman asked you for your passport to take out an insurance policy. And I was telling Will earlier, Andrea has never asked me that. And we've been together 6 years. Andrea has never sat back and said, well, baby, I'm about to take an insurance policy out on you. We talk about insurance policies. We make sure that we have insurance policies. We both have policies. We're both protected. But we never talk about taking out a private policy on each other. And just like Will said, when he asked the woman to see the policy, she got defensive and would not allow him to see it. But here is the wise thing that Will emphasized on. I want him to talk about this some more. How he was wise enough when he first came down, gentlemen. He made sure that he had a separate Airbnb from the place where he was staying with the young lady. And speaking of the lady, Will, how old was this lady that was all this taking place?
Oh yeah, y'all gonna love this. Everybody thinks that many of these scams take place with the young women. This lady 50 years old.
50
years old. And so one of the things is, it's like, you have to be cognizant and you can't become complacent. All right. Like I said, hey, she a fine chick, but like I told Brother Drake, you can't be afraid to walk away from these chicks. There are too many beautiful women in Colombia or around the world that would love to have you. And the whole thing is like that, right? I told Dre, I said, Dre, I cut everything off, man. I cut her off Facebook. I cut her off, not Tinder, because I don't fucking do Tinder. Sorry. I cut her off, what's that other one? I cut her off TikTok. Yeah, so I cut her off TikTok, cut her off Facebook, and I cut her off Instagram. We don't want nothing to do with her. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. Unfortunately, because I don't have any proof, I cannot get this woman's name, so there's nothing I can do with that. Because if this did come across, she could say that it's slander. So that's another thing, because I was talking to somebody about that earlier today. What can I do about that? And they said, unless you have proof, it ain't nothing you can do. However, basically, off the information I'm telling you guys, you have to do your due diligence. Take your time, listen, and pay attention. Because the information that I'm giving you, right, I'm telling you, it's surreal. Now, I don't know this whole individual's background, like I said, because you know what? You only seeing them once every, 2 months. But here's the thing that I said to Drake. I said, Drake, I said, man, I'm gonna drop some knowledge here. As much as you gentlemen go to Colombia, and a lot of y'all don't know a lot of chicks when y'all come to Colombia. All right, y'all might know one, but if you meet a woman in Colombia that ain't never been to the United States and she knows more freaking Americans than you know Colombians, that's a red flag. I'm just gonna say it like that.
Say that again. If she knows more Americans, go ahead.
If she knows more Americans in America and ain't never been there, and you have been to Colombia and you know way less Colombian chicks than she knows, you know way less Colombian chicks, that's a red flag.
Absolutely correct. Your man say it for the back seats. That's absolutely correct. That is a fact. If this woman knows more American men or American people, then in some cases, some of you, if she hangs out with more Americans than you hang out with, and you lived in America, then he's absolutely correct. That's a red flag. And I remember when you said this. Shout out to Uriah being in the building. Shout out to E-Man. Shout out to Global Paper being in the building. We got 55 people in the building right here on YouTube, and we've got 24 people that are on the Rumble. Shout out. We're gonna give a shout out to all you guys that have donated. Shout out to my man Terrence with the $10. He said, from your boy T-Mac. Shout out to you, T-Mac, who's in Medellin, Colombia right now, doing great things. And shout out to my man once again, Tevin King, who with the $20 love the game. He's on Rumble. Shout out to you, and shout out to you for becoming a member. All you guys over there on Rumble, if you could join the membership, all you have to do is just go down to the bottom, and then you can do a membership. So shout out to you guys doing that. Or if you just want to give a $1 or $2 donation, you could do that as well. But definitely, guys, make sure you join the Patreon also. So we appreciate you guys being here, hearing what Will has to say. For some of you guys that are just getting here, Will is telling his story about just recently how a Colombiana, 50 years old, that it looked like she was successful, very attractive, he'd been dealing with for 2 years. And then when he gets here over the last week or two, she asked him for his passport because she wants to take an insurance policy out on your boy. And we all know that she wanted to do something with that insurance policy. She wasn't taking that insurance policy out for nothing. So we're going to continue to hear what else Will has to say, because looking back, I want to ask Will this. Could you name a few of the red flags that now you're thinking back like, maybe that was a red flag, or maybe this was maybe a red flag and I never thought about it?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So, gentlemen, one of the things you want to look at, right? I don't care what nationality, where they come from in the world. One of the things to look at is, did they have a strong father figure? Did they have a strong mother figure? And even if they didn't have that, did they have some positive female or some positive male in their life that pushed them in that direction? One of the things that stood out the most, about her is that I figured like, okay, she's getting help because she's going to see a mental health counselor. But hey, just because they go see a mental health counselor don't mean that they healthy. So, oh yeah, and you're right. Like you said, she was probably been faking that success. Exactly. Because matter of fact, you bring it up because I was talking to Dre earlier. It's like when I got boots on the ground, she was like, hey, I need some help with my roof. Can you help me get that fixed? And I'm saying like, no, I'm that's not my responsibility. And one of the things that she said was, well, maybe we need to live separate. Now, she ain't never talked like this the whole 20-some months we've been together. But I was like, you know what? I'm glad you showed me who you are. Now, all this happened in like the last week. So you know what? There it is. I was like, you know what? Didn't ask questions, didn't argue, didn't try to explain. Hey, pack my shit up, pop smoke, like they would say on the battlefield, and I was out.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, one of the things that we often talk about on this channel is we all have to learn to cut our losses when it comes to whether it be dating in the States, whether it be dating in the Philippines, Thailand, whether you be dating in Africa or you're dating in other parts of the world, DR. You have to realize that, there's nothing wrong, gentlemen, with cutting your losses. Shout out to Uriah on the Rumble. Uriah says this, and shout out to my man Top Gun on Rumble as well. Both gentlemen says this. Uriah says this with the $10 holla. He says, salute to Dre and my brother Will the Thrill. He said, and everyone in the building. We know in this channel, chat lives matter. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chat lives matter. And he says, I'm glad that you got away from that chick, Will. And my man Top Gun says this before Will responds. Top Gun says this. My man Troy, he says, for the game, the art of walking off and putting out is a very powerful act. Yes, it is. Not everybody has that superpower of just walking away from a woman and cutting your losses. Because Will and I were talking earlier, and Will and I were discussing that some of you guys invest so much money. And, I want to say some of you guys, some of us, because I was in that position at one point in time with the long distance thing, back and forth. And some of you guys, we have a tendency of, because we invested so much time, so much energy, so much travel back and forth, so much of getting to know that person, it's hard for us to just let it go and walk away. It's not that easy for many men. And let me ask you this, Will, what made you, and shout out to my man, Growth Talk in the building, what made you say, you know what, I think this is the time I should walk away?
You know what, Dre? I mean, remember we talked before, right? I have been through enough in the United States. Bump that. I am not going through that in another country. And the most important thing is you have to love yourself. And you also have to realize, right, that if you find one fine woman, it's 20 more that's waiting, especially down here in Colombia. I mean, yes. It is so many waiting down in Colombia. But you know what? I take it as a blessing because now I can go down there and visit Brother Dre in Cali, right? So I'm cool. I'm cool with that. So you know what? After this lease is up, and I go back to the States, do my final, hey, I got my retirement. Then I'll let Dre know, hey, I'm coming down to Cali. But I'm kind of glad this happened because people always show who they are, regardless of what you may think. All you gotta do is sit still, and don't say nothing. People always tell you who they are. They always show you who you are. All you gotta do is pay attention and listen. And you know what? Don't try to make reason. I think that's the thing that people are always, maybe she's going through this, or maybe she's going to bump that. I'm gonna tell you like this. If a person truly loves you, man or woman, they ain't gonna put you through that BS. They're going to show you that they celebrate you. They're going to show you that they appreciate you. When they don't show you that, hey, I'm not saying jump to conclusions. Gather all your information. When you see what it is, then you walk off. That's what I did. It was just that simple. Hey, life is too short to be sitting up there waiting on a humbug, or life is too short to be sitting there talking about, oh, shit, I'm on Razor Rays, but I ain't here to say nothing about being on Razor Rays.
Right. That's the last place that you want to be. You want to watch Razor Rays. Shout out to Razor Rays. You do not want to be on Razor Rays or DC Robs because you did not. I like what Growth said. He said, Kofa says this. He said, a tiger don't change. He said, a tiger don't change its stripes. He said, my mom said that. They just are who they are. And I like what we said, what you mentioned earlier, Will, when you were saying that a person can only fake who they are for so long, and you saw certain areas that she was successful. Would you mention some of those areas that you kind of thought, okay, she might be a good woman because I see this, or she's a good woman because I see that she's doing that? So what were some of the good things that attracted you to her and gave her a chance?
So one of the things is she owned property. All right. She owned, and then like I said, she's about to inherit some more. But one of the things is that you got to also realize is that, okay, she would cook in the beginning, do all these things, but I wasn't even here a week and she complaining about, oh, I'm not your servant. I ain't doing all of this. I'm looking at her like, all right, I ain't gonna argue. All right.
Right.
You don't argue with stuff like that. You take it with a grain of salt, and then you use that and be like, okay, I see where this is going. That means I need to pay attention and learn more about this individual. So the parents, no, I didn't meet her online, man. That's the funny thing. I actually met her, and see, this is what's gonna get y'all, right? I actually met her in the mall. Wasn't online. I don't meet chicks online. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It doesn't matter where you meet. That's the reason why Dre brought me on this show, because this is an anomaly that most brothers or sisters wouldn't understand. You don't have to meet them online. Effery can be in many forms. You don't have to meet them. You can just meet them out and about. You don't know. Hey, think about it. I met her friends, met her family, but somewhere down the line, somebody must have gotten in her head, because guess what? That changed. And when that changed, I took notice, because when you notice something that changed, hey, start paying attention, start taking notes, do an assessment. If it ain't where it says it's going to be, walk away.
I'll let me add to that before you go any further. And he's 100% correct. When Andre and I first start furnishing our first apartment, a lot of females, not her major friends, but a lot of females were like, girl, he American. Why don't you get the giant refrigerator? And I'm like, we don't need the giant refrigerator. We just need a nice size that can fit into that section. Well, he's American. Why don't you get the Hashitashi 3000 this and why don't you just get the more advanced that? He's American. And Andre like, what are you people talking about? Why would I overspend for things that I don't need? Now, when it came to the bed, with my height, we got a California king size bed, but I'm 6'3", so I need something larger, and bigger. But and they were like, even the salespeople, Andre said, when she went to go get the bed, they were looking at her at 5'6". They were like, what do you need this big bed for? So she explained her, at that time period, her future husband was 6'3", and so they understood. But other than that, your point is correct. There are people that will get in the ear of another woman because she's bragging about she got her American man, she got her a Canadian man, she's got her a Jamaican man. And so those women will sit back and be like, cha-ching, cha-ching for her. That person might not even be thinking like that. But just like Uriah said, snakes in every country. He's 100% correct. Let me let Will continue on with this story. I just wanted to share mine.
No, I mean, you're exactly right. And I mean, the whole thing is like, when things like that change, somebody had to, say something, whether it be some guy, whether it be some female, but you have to pay attention to those precursors, and you have to start really, really dissecting what it is a person's way of thinking is, I mean, because the thing is that you always have to remember, you are the foreigner, and you're not a Colombian. You are the foreigner. So I can only speak on Colombia. I can't speak on Dominican Republic. I can't speak on the other countries. I'm just only going to speak on Colombia. Okay, so when you look at the status quo of how these women are now, mind you, I didn't present myself as the person that has a lot of money. I was always very basic. I never ever did anything. But because we went on trips, maybe it was the fact that we went to Germany to my son's wedding that people might have been like, oh, wait a minute, he must got money, girl, because he went, he took you to Europe to his son's wedding. Now, mind you, all right, it might not seem like much to me at the point, but to her and some other people, that might be something that they saw, because let's be honest, right? The average Colombian cannot just go to Europe. I'm just going to be realistic. They have a hard time going to the United States, and it's closer and cheaper. They can't just go to Europe. A minimum for a Colombian to go to if I'm not mistaken, the minimum for a Colombian to go to Europe is a minimum of like 7 million pesos.
Yeah,
Minimum.
7 mil.
That ain't no cheap that ain't no chump change. And that's just going to Spain. That's not even including one, because once you get to Spain, going to Germany or anywhere else is pretty cheap. So now you got that with 2 tickets. All right. So that's 14 million pesos. And you know, me, I ain't gonna lie, I might have slipped because my ass got bougie because I was like, fuck this. I ain't come. I'm sorry, Dre. Sorry for cussing.
Go ahead, brother.
I was like, bump this. I'm not coming back to, you know, Colombia on what you say, coach. So we flew back first. We flew back first class because
first class. That's right.
Yeah, because I was like after dealing with the little crazy person going over to Colombia, I said I ain't dealing with this coming back. So that might have been something that, you know, might have changed the dynamics at that point. Okay, but the thing is, I never displayed how much money that I have. Right, as you can see, I got on a regular white T-shirt. All right, a little simple Apple Watch. I ain't got no jewelry on. That's all in the States. I mean, I just don't roll like that. But somebody must have got in, as they say, that chica's head, whether it be male or female. And like I said, it could have been, look, she could have been cheating on me the whole time, and I never even known. That's another thing that I was telling Drake. I said, somebody could have been blowing her back out, and I didn't even freaking know about it. Okay? But you just don't know. And the thing is, what I'm trying to tell you, gentlemen, all right, is don't trust any of these females until you verify.
Yes. You definitely have to verify the person. One of the things that I often talk about on the show, and Will and I discuss, was the fact that when I met Andrea's family, I told her I told her father that I was not looking for a wife. I was looking for a family. So as they were analyzing me to see if I wasn't one of those crazy Americans that they've been hearing about that have been running through Medellin. I mean, just think about it. For the most part, Cali hears about what's happening in Medellin and Cartagena, Manizales, Pereira, Armenia. These cities hear about what's happening. But even though it may happen in small segments in these cities, it's not like it is in touristy locations such as Cartagena, such as Medellin. Even in Barranquilla, they hear what's happening. And so they don't trust Americans because, hey, sometimes y'all do some crazy things. We saw it on television. And yet y'all don't trust Colombians because of the things that we see that's continue to take place. So while I'm sitting there, we're both kind of like analyzing each other. The family was analyzing me. There was no drinks. There for the first 2 hours at Andrea's family, I kid you not, we sat there and we talked. Music off. It was me, her grandma, her dad. They all set it up. Me, her mom, her grandma, her, and her brother. And we all sat around and we talked and we had deep conversations. Everything from spiritual to economic to what my plans were to when I planned on coming down. They had told me what some of their thoughts were of Americans because of some of the things that they'd either seen on television or heard about that's taking place in Medellin, and they didn't want that to take place to their daughter. So we had a deep conversation. And then after that, the music turned on because I remember Grandma said, she said, well, I don't care what y'all got to say. I like Andre. And because I had met her prior to meeting the rest of the family. You know, she had cooked lunch, and Andrea and I came over and had lunch with her. She was the first person that I met, but at her place. But because that gave me a chance to analyze them and be honest with my analyzation, and I was able to analyze Andrea. They were able to analyze me to see what type of person I was. Nothing has changed. Those people who I analyzed 6 years ago are still those exact same people, if not better. They've helped me through so many things to make sure that my journey and my experience here in the States from the States was a lot smoother. And so, guys, the reason why Will and I are talking about this in regards to this lady that wanted to take an insurance policy out on him, this lady that was playing the long game, and Will and I were going to talk about that in a second. is that you guys have to, Will and I were saying that you have to be boots on the ground. Is that correct? Does that help
Yes,
out a lot
sir.
more?
It helps out a heck of a lot more because you know what? Just because you see them, even if it was once every month, right? Think about it. I was coming down once every 2 months. And like I said, a person can fake for a whole week or 10
Right.
days. They can fake for a whole week. But once you get on the ground and they know that you there, that changes quickly. Those dynamics come. I mean, and once you start seeing those things, that's when you guys start taking notes of the things that they did in the beginning versus things that they doing now. Because think about it, right? If you ain't been around, they should be happy to see you. They should be wanting to do more stuff. But that fact that they doing less stuff when you got boots on the ground, yeah, it's like, you know what? Yeah, just kick that to the curb and keep it moving.
I like what you said earlier, also, Will, and a lot of guys can attest to this. These ladies in some of these locations don't see the bigger picture. They don't see, they think their game is the long game. They don't realize that they could have had a good man with good opportunity doing some great things in life, but they effed it up trying to be slick. You see what I'm saying? Trying to be
Right.
slick, trying to get that quick hustle on. And the way that this woman was trying to move, it seemed like it was dangerous because once she got an insurance policy, this woman would have probably 9 times out of 10 in Colombia tried to do something to uh to be able to cash in on that policy, on that particular policy.
Right, right. And I wasn't trying to stay around long enough to find that out.
And shout out to my man, I am FF. He says, yeah, man. He said if she's not all over you for that month, and you just coming down, you officially down, she should be dancing in the streets. My baby here. I'm so happy, holding hands. Everywhere she goes, she's introducing you. She looking at you should be in her eyes. Like when I first came, man, you thought I was a celebrity. Andre was like, no autographs, no autographs, no autographs. Andre, put your glasses on, no autographs, please. Block your camera. No autographs. That's how Andrea was. Like, this is my man. I'm spending all the time with him. I'm happy that he's here. No autographs, please. No autographs. That's how Andrea was. She was so protective and so loving, and she wanted to be all over your boy. So to sit back and see that you said, as soon as I get down here, and once again, gentlemen, we got 64 in the building. Click that like button. We like you. Make sure you like us too. Once again, gentlemen, this is not the first time in my 6 years being here I've heard this, where as soon as the guy gets ready to move down here, things change. And I'm going to tell you another country I hear that about, the Philippines and Thailand.
Yep.
Yes, I hear a lot of times it's a lot safer in the Philippines and Thailand. Yes, I do. And I hear that it's a lot more peaceful and it's better food and blah, 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 even though the cultural diversity is not as much and they are not as physically attractive as Colombian women. But the one thing that I do hear, Will, a lot of guys, when they get ready to move down there officially, the female changes. She changes, or she hustles him for the last bit of dollars and she disappears right before these guys get ready to move down there or when they move down there. So these women do in the Philippines and in Thailand, not all, we're not going to say this about all women, but they are very well known from the research that I've done for playing the long game. You don't have to worry about getting drugged or anything, but you will have to worry about, because you're donating your money on purpose, $50 here, $200 there, and then within a 3-year period, you've sent her almost $10, $15, $20,000 to the Philippines or to Thailand. You don't notice it because it was in small increments. And then all of a sudden, when you get ready to move there, finally, she disappears with the down payment money for your house. She disappears with the down payment money for your apartment. She disappears with the money in Thailand. I've heard this several times that there are American men that are living on the beach in Thailand, because they said all their proceeds, all their retirement money to the women in Thailand. And what ended up happening, the woman disappeared. And so you're absolutely correct, Will. A person has to be careful.
Yeah, let's talk about that. If
Yes,
nobody
sir.
learned from MC Hammer, giving all his money away, my whole thing is like this, right? Your career is all you got. Why you gonna give it away to somebody that don't have anything to lose or have as much as you? First of all, you don't need them to move to their country. They need you to move to our country. But hey, I'm not doing that. We ain't, you ain't no coming to America shit. Ain't none
That's
of
right.
that. But my thing is they need us. We don't need them. So why the heck would you send them your money? If anything, get you a lawyer down there that you trust that's been vetted and you have them do your business. You don't have
True.
somebody to do your business and they ain't got nothing to lose. They ain't got nothing. And like this chick, she got property. I don't give a damn how many property. She could have had 20,000 property. I wouldn't send her my money. Just
That's
saying.
true. Shout out to my man David Dice over on Rumble with the $5 love. Shout out to you. He says, shout out to the family and to Andre and Andrea. Shout out to you, David. Appreciate you, brother. Shout out to you. Let me let you continue on, Will.
Yeah. So I mean, my whole thing is that it's just like what David said. Yeah, she was acting very childish, and you know what? And the whole thing is, you cannot do anything if they act that way. Walk away. You can't argue with them. You can't talk to them. Because remember what I said. If they didn't have that mother, that father, that grandfather, or that grandmother, or some positive male or female in their life to nurture them, ain't nothing you can say that's gonna change that.
True. True.
And that don't
That's
matter what
so
country
true.
they in. Don't matter what country they in. Every country I've been in, there's always been women that got that positive male. Matter of fact, the males, like matter of fact, with brother Andre, what he went through when his wife introduced him to the family and the father approached him, that's how that was supposed to happen. And
Yeah.
when Andre responded the way he did when he said, I'm not just looking for a wife, I'm looking for a family, bruh, that's game over right there. You cannot say it any louder than that. Because if you just say you're looking for a wife, that sounds like something selfish. But when you say you're looking for a family, that means you're looking to accept everything about them and all the family that they have.
Yeah. Good, bad, or indifferent. Kid you not. You are absolutely correct, Will. That moment of me looking for a family or people, and what I meant by the family, I meant of a network of people that I knew that could help me if I had moments that I was in need. A lot of times people it's kind of funny in the States, Will, they often say that, you go to another country, you're going to have to take care of her family. You're going to have to feed them, and they're going to be asking for money, and in some cases a dowry, and in some cases it is like that. But I got news for you. My family in the States asked for more money than anything that any Colombian family could ask me for. My family in the States always in the pocket. You would think that they were my kids. They always, and when your family say, can I borrow? You ain't getting that money back. So when
Right.
people in the States sit back and say, well, you're going to be doing this for the family, doing that for the family. I already do it in the United States, and you people are far more expensive than whatever Colombian family asked me to borrow if they ask me. Now, I haven't had that situation. They've actually been there for me. It's kind of funny because being down here, Will, I've discovered that Andrea family has invested more in us and has taken time out to give us more knowledge to keep from making mistakes. And they've been there for us and saved us so much money in different areas than anything that people in the States would have thought that I would have been giving up.
Right.
You'd have thought I was the one to giving up money, and not realizing because I asked God, and I told the family that I was looking for a family, they delivered 100%. No family is perfect. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is,
Facts.
whenever I give a perfect example. Some of you guys have heard me talk about this. When we were in a small fender bender about 2 years ago, nothing major, but a small fender bender. Man, bruh, about 4 or 5 Andrea family members showed up to the accident. And we're looking like, I have never had one family member in the States ever show up to an accident. I mean, they're riding from the other side of the city just to make sure that we're fine. We're already talking to everybody. Everything is fine. Nothing's bad. But just the fact that these people got in their vehicles and got on their bikes and rode over to where we are to make sure that we are fine. You're not going to see that in the States. And I like what Uriah just said. He said, do you think that's how she got those properties, cashed out insurance policies?
Hey, you know what? I actually don't know, but you know what? I do know that her mom has like several properties, and I know that she's going to inherit that, but that's not my problem. Never was my problem, and not ever my business. You know, whatever she got, that's hers. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what a person inherits. It's about how they carry themselves. And like I
True.
said, the fact that she was coming at me, asking me to help her with some stuff, tells me that she had a problem with managing her money and on those properties.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. If you're asking me for proceeds and you own properties, what are you doing with your proceeds? What are you doing that? My man say, Chalupa says Andre hitting them old ladies' vehicle. Not that story. That was a different story. Yeah, when I got into the argument with the old ladies.
Hey, Dre, somebody asked me, they was like, hey, Will, can you put some more light? I'm like, man, hey, I'm in the Airbnb. Hey, I ain't got no control of
Let
this.
me ask you this. Are you facing the light? Are you facing the lamp? You know, we black folks, we got to face the light.
Honestly, yeah, that's true, but it's behind me, and the thing is, I probably could have turned it around and got it that way, but
It's okay.
I get it, but you know, I it's just that I was so, and the funny thing is, right? I want you guys to know I'm not bitter, like I told Dre. I said I'm kind of glad it happened the way it did. I said, man, I gotta tell Dre what just happened. Like, I appreciate you for your channel and looking out stuff, because man, if I didn't pay attention, I probably would have overlooked some things. But I was so happy to find this out on my own. And you know, like I said, that person might be trying to contact me now. That person might not be trying to contact me. But it don't matter, because I block all what you say communications,
And that's how you do that.
It's like the most powerful thing, gentlemen, that you can do. All right, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Even if they care about you, even if they don't care about you, the most powerful thing you can do is walk away and don't say nothing. It might not hit them today. It may not hit them in a month. It might not hit them in a year, but it's gonna hit them that, oh damn, that dude walked away from me and didn't even blink an eye. I'm telling you, that is the most powerful thing, and you will get more respect because you walked away than if you stayed. Why would you put yourself through that pain of dealing with people that don't want to celebrate you or respect you? Now, I could see if I was a bad dude, never, you know, talked to her wrong, mistreated her, never did any of that stuff, was always cool. But the whole thing is, when I look at the whole situation of how everything came to be, regardless of whether it was 1 year or 20 months, that just tells me that person never cared anything about me in the beginning. Because if a person truly cared about you, if they don't want to have something to do with you, they would be man or woman enough to just say, hey, this ain't working out, and we be done. But the fact you're trying to play game, trying to see what you can get out of the situation, that's not a good person. That ain't nothing but a straight evil individual. And ain't no other way to look at it.
Especially at 50 years old. She taking the scope game to a whole nother level. You know, she's not even thinking about scoping nobody. She's thinking about the insurance policy. The young girls ain't even thinking about insurance policies.
Right. And that's the reason why I had to bring that to your attention, because I'm like, wait a minute, this chick asked me for my passport, and I said, okay, what you need that for? It's like, look, they don't even ask you for your passport and take a picture or a copy of it at the airport.
True. So true.
I mean, like I said, I had to do one for my Airbnb when I first got here, because I did that, and I told them, I said, look, I'm not checking in. And gentlemen, let me explain this to you, right? Why it's important to get the Airbnb. Get the Airbnb. If you no matter you got a chick or not, get the Airbnb. Even if you're gonna be staying with her, check in, get all that stuff you need to do, let them know what's going on. Trust me, these people were so cool about it. They was like, oh, okay. And they already knew I was, because they was like, okay, you got a girl, but look, I didn't check in to 14 days later.
Wow. Wow. That's a good point. That's a good point of having the backup plan, guys. So, guys, like I just mentioned before, yeah. Go ahead, Will.
Don't sit up there and jeopardize or say take your safety for granted. Okay, it's like this, right? I know many of y'all come down here. I mean, even if you do the pay for play, like what Drake been saying, don't bring them back to your Airbnb.
No.
If you ain't vetted that chick, take that chick over to one of them hotels, man. They got them all over Medellin. You can look it up. They give them to you all on the map. Like I said, like I told Dre, I said, Dre, when I came down here, I said, I ain't come down here looking for women. And even if it didn't work out with this one, I'm cool with that. I ain't look, bro, I can care less. I'm still stacking paper. Even though I'm retired, if you ain't still thinking about stacking paper while you in retirement or while you down here, you doing it all wrong.
Correct. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Yep. Yeah. Take them to the love motels. They're all over. And now that Will is down here and we discussed them, Will probably is noticing them more than before. You know, now you're like, man, Dre was right. They're everywhere.
Bro,
they are everywhere.
It's one like 6 streets over.
Dude, there's 5 of them, at least 5 on the way from the airport here in Cali, Colombia. At least 5 on your way, just riding from the airport. There are 5 of those love motels, and they're not raggedy. They're not beat up. They're set up for, you know, when you have somebody that you want to be with for a few hours. They're not like motels that you see in the United States where somebody is just, you know, you got roaches and rats. It's not like that at all. They're very clean, and there's a lot of money made off of them, and they are everywhere. Like I mentioned the other day, my uncle and I and Andrea were just coming from a restaurant, and we just decided to count the amount of love motels we drove past that were really nice. And we counted just coming from our restaurant, which was like a 10-minute drive, 20-minute drive to our home, and it was 16 of those love motels where you just pull your vehicle in or you pull in with the taxi and it's all private and the person can't get out until you both come out. There's security there and everything. And if you want to, you can even give the security guard a tip and let them know, like, listen, nobody comes out unless it's both of us. And you can give him a tip. And a lot of those women will be deterred to go to those love motels because they know that's not where you keep all your stash. So if it's not just in your pocket, you don't have it. So that's another thing that deters those ladies to go with you to the love motels, because you're like, wait a minute, why don't you want to go to the motel with me? Oh, nah, I got something I got to do. Oh, now you got something you need to do. It's those type of things that you guys, shout to Ransom in the building, is those type of things that you guys need to do, having an extra Airbnb. Just like, I'm so glad that Will did that. I'm so glad, because a lot of guys don't do that and it hurts you. Now, like Will and I were saying earlier, these cameras are going to go off. They're going to go off. And most of what Will and I were talking about, you guys are going to say, well, not my girl. Like you're the Temptations, my girl. And many of you are going to say, well, not the woman that I'm with tonight. While we're talking right now, there's some dude that's being drugged or hustled or robbed right now in Cartagena or Medellin or Bogota, even maybe in Cali. Don't think that any of us are above this. It took years for me to build the trust that I have in my wife, because she constantly showed the example that, and her family showed the example. We're not those type of people. And then the more I'm down here, boots on the ground, Will, I've had a chance to meet more men and women in Colombia that are not those type of people. But those type of people exist, just like in the States. they exist here. So guys, when we end this stream later on this evening, don't just look at it like that was entertaining, guys. Friday night, drink in hand, cool. Do realize, take advantage of this. Next time you go to Medellin and you got your little lady friends, I don't care if it's only costs an extra $20, $22 a night for you to have an extra Airbnb, maybe on the next floor or in the Airbnb spot next door. Either way, make sure that you have an extra spot where you keep your real stuff, not somewhere that you take, just one spot and you take everything everywhere. Shout out to my man Timothy Bright in the building. He say, just in time. He say, who is this, Andre? Is this Will or someone else? Yes, it is. We do have Will the Thrill in the building here on YouTube and Rumble and Facebook. Shout out to all of you on Facebook. Shout out to my man Alejandro in the building. He says, sorry that he said, I don't trust no woman 1%, not even my wife. I'm not saying 100%. No one should be trusted in leading somebody 1%. That's kind of scary for any of us. I wouldn't want my wife to just trust me 1% whimsically and just believe any old word that I say. So I agree with you. I don't blame you at all, brother, in regards to that. I wouldn't trust a person 100% either. But what I'm saying is this, guys, we have to be more alert. We have to be more patient. I was talking to Will earlier, and we were talking about now that he's boots on the ground, that made it a lot easier for him to say, you know what, I'm going to walk away. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. And you know what? And the funny thing is, I just want to say that because Timothy Bright is in the house, and one of the things is, gotta love Tim, man. Tim was constantly saying, "Will, watch your back." He was like,
right.
He's like, "Hey, I know you say you're gonna be doing this," and I had already told Tim. I said, "Hey, man, I said I'm gonna have a backup spot because I was like, we ain't about to." I said because the thing is, you just never know. I learned this from even being in Europe. Have a backup spot, no matter what. Being in Italy, being in France, no matter where you go, always have a backup spot. My grandmother used to always say, "God bless the child that has his own."
Mm-hmm.
When you ain't got, you get taken advantage of. I'm not saying, because let me tell you something. You ain't foolproof. You ain't, you ain't scandal proof. The whole thing is, you got to understand something. These chicks got the fruits that was. They got the fruits.
Right.
And I'm telling you right now, if you get caught up in the fruits, then that's your life. You can't get caught up in that. All right. We too old to be getting PW. Y'all know what that means. We too old to be getting that. We too old for that. If you still getting PW, you matter of fact, you don't need to be traveling. Stay your ass in the States. Stay your ass in your city. Okay. Deal with that shit, what you dealing with. All right. Because you come overseas, why make it harder than what it really is?
Correct. And if you guys don't know what PW is, I'll tell you what it is. Pussy whipped. For all you dudes that's at this stage of life, you still are easy to get pussy whipped. You can say what you want. I'm a romantic. I'm a helpless romantic. Say whatever it is that you want to say it is. You pussy whipped. You sit up there coming out of your proceeds for somebody that you know means you no good. Yes, you are too old to be pussy whipped. You may want to call it a dog of a different breed, but at the same time, it's still a dog. Your tail is pussy whipped. And because of that, a lot of guys, once these cameras go off, you're still going to be FaceTiming the same women that mean you no harm. If you know that she means you no harm, guys, just delete her from your phone, delete her from your Instagram, delete her from your Facebook. There's no communication. You don't owe her a why. I'm going to say this again, gentlemen. We owe these ladies in these countries that you're not married to nothing. I don't know why you want to give these women closure. Wait a minute. You weren't kings of closure in the States? How many of y'all were king of closure? I wasn't, and you ain't. I know you. You were just cutting them off. You wasn't calling no more. You wasn't texting no more. She blowing up your phone. She pulling up to your parking lot of your job. Why? Because you don't get no closure. That ain't what you do. You ain't asked for no closure and you ain't giving no closure. Stop trying to give chicks in other countries something that you wasn't giving women in the United States. Do not give women in the United States something that you do not give. I mean, women in other countries, what you do not give women in the United States. You are not a closure king there. Stop pretending like you're a closure king here. Am I right, Will?
Oh yeah. So I'm explaining this to so you guys understand, right? So I did exactly what Dre said. I didn't say nothing, but I was close to one family member. And like I told Dre, the only reason why I told that family member, I said, "Look, bro, I'm leaving. I'm not giving no reason why. I'm done." And that was it. I said, "There's no need for her to call the police. There's no her need to try to find out where I'm at. I'm done. We are through. That's it." Because you know what? If you don't do that, then there's some extra shit that you get to the airport you got to deal with. No, she was already told. Get that shit. Don't owe them nothing. Keep it moving. Because you know what? They weren't thinking, why you going to give them an excuse or an example when they weren't thinking about that when they was mistreating your ass?
Yep. He's the only thing, Uriah says this, the only thing closed is the door behind your ass. That's absolutely correct. Shout out to Uriah for that one. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, I was just talking. Matter of fact, I was just talking to him yesterday saying, "Yep, this chick's still on probation." But he didn't realize it was going to be this quick.
She done messed up. She done violated probation already.
Oh, you know what, Dre? I mean, the whole thing is, I think that you have to have some self-discipline. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm about to go real with it. Quit being bitches. Be a man.
Be a man.
Walk the hell away. If she say something you don't like, look, let me tell you what I told Dre. This chick told me she wasn't gonna cook, and she was complaining, and I was only here back for a week. I was like, "You ain't gonna cook? Cool. We ain't even gotta discuss that no more." I don't even hear sister girls say that in the States.
Was she cooking before? The first 2 years.
Oh yeah, not a problem.
But when you moved down, all of a sudden she don't cook.
But when I moved out, all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? I got you. Hey, look, the fact that reminded me too much of some women back in the States. That was another reason, bro. This chick was giving me so many red flags that I'm walking away. Matter of fact, I wasn't even walking away. I was skipping away. I was freaking goddamn walking away. That's how serious I was with it. I was like, bro. As many times I've came down to Colombia, I've never had a Colombian chick tell me she ain't gonna cook for me.
No, that's wild.
That right there, I was like, you gotta go.
Especially at 50 years old, mind you. As he's telling this story, do realize this is a 50-year-old Colombian woman. Her problem is that she's been listening to people, or maybe like the last 5-10 years, in regards to the foreigners this and the foreigners that. Now, my scenario is this that you guys often hear me say, guys, if you don't mind, we need 2 more people to join the Patreon today. Just 2 more people to join the Patreon, the paid membership. I got a lot of things I want to be doing overnight on the Patreon. I wanted to go hanging out tonight, but there's some things I just want to do on the Patreon for after this live stream. Also, tonight, gentlemen, so we just need 2 people on the Patreon. Appreciate that, guys. Also, tonight, guys, we're doing half of like we did last time. Half of this show is on YouTube. The rest of you guys, shout out to you guys that are already on Rumble. If you are not on Rumble, you're not going to see the other half of the show where Will and I are going to be doing our breakdown on this brother that got drugged in. Not Aaron. let's move this over. But this gentleman right here,
Aaron too smart for that.
This gentleman right here got drugged and robbed. He said, I think the Brazilians were way too no. This brother got drugged and robbed in Medellin, and this brother here, it happened in Bogota. So we got 2 stories that we're going to be doing on Rumble tonight. So If you're not on Rumble, guys, make sure that you shout out my man Mike T in the building. If you're not over on Rumble already, guys, make sure that you go over to Rumble, because we got some, and we're going to hear what Aaron has to say about both of these scenarios, because it's actually 3 stories that we're going to go over. There's a story of the gentleman that, let's go back here, the story of the gentleman that lost his life in Rio over this past weekend. So we got the Rio story that we're going to be doing over on Rumble. We got the brother that got guided in Medellin. She paid for those braces somehow. And then the dude in Bogota. And they're going to be telling their stories. So shout out to Aaron with the Passport Bro app, as well as you guys that are going over to subscribe to Rumble right now. So like I said, we just need 2 more people on the Patreon, and we just need you guys to meet us over on Rumble in a few moments. We got 24 people there, and we got 64 people here. I kid you not, guys. Not Rio. Say it isn't so. Yes, in Rio too. Yes, in Rio too. They getting God. They're getting God. So what we need to do is start analyzing, and taking our time with these ladies. Do realize that the first person that you meet, or even the 5th person that you meet, may not be the one for you. Nothing wrong with that. David says this. He says, Andre, is like some of these dudes still don't listen, getting ended up in other countries still, or upended in other countries still. Yeah, they don't listen. We're men. Let's be real about it. We think we know shit. Okay, let's be real. Can't nobody tell us nothing. Ain't that right, Will? Can't nobody tell a man nothing. We think especially the older we get. You can't teach a what dog? A old dog new tricks. You say, where is the info for the Passport Bro app? Let's see if I could pull that up. I thought I had that here. Give me a second. Here we go. Here's the info for the Passport Bro app. I'm about to put in the comments, actually. But go ahead, Will, as you were saying.
Yeah, I think that most people don't think it could happen to them, or like I said, it's the complacent mindset. And the whole thing is, everybody thinks that because their relationship is going good, but let's take into account the many gentlemen in the entertainment industry that thought their relationship was going good for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and then boom, the woman, comes after them, takes all their stuff. I mean, just think about it, right? The laws are set up to take it from you in the United States. And so when you're in another country, there ain't no laws. It's just them taking advantage of a situation because they say, oh, okay, these Americans will just pay for whatever they can. And, I'm going to be honest with you. These girls, they'll be like, oh, y'all pussy hungry. So they know this. And so they take advantage of that and use it to their advantage, not realizing that's still the oldest profession in the world. And that's the reason this has been going on. Hey, look, the fruit thing calls wars.
True.
So you getting scopolamine, some chick trying to get a life insurance policy on you,
right?
or just trying to take advantage of your funds. I mean, it goes without saying. You got to have some type of intellectual integrity to say, all right, let me sit back, let me analyze this situation, let me share my experience with other brothers. Because like Dre's like, I don't know if you want to talk about this. I said, oh no, Dre, I got to talk about this, man, because this is a whole new level of some stuff right now. I mean, this chick asked me, because think about this, gentlemen. It's not the fact that she asked me for my passport. It's the fact that she asked me for my passport to get a life insurance policy, but then I asked her, hey, let me see the life insurance policy. And she stated, you don't need to see that. Do you not trust me? Do you think I'm a cheater? The fact that she said that in one sentence basically just told you is, listen to what she said. Do you think I'm a cheater? In my mind, you a cheater because you said that shit. So you must be.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Will.
It's it's like, because I'm thinking of like the fact that I never brought up anything about, do you think I'm a cheater? So the fact that she said that, she basically told on herself. And that's basically what I'm trying to tell y'all in the intelligence world, right? A lot of times people tell you things and you don't even have to ask the question. So it was like, yeah, decision time. I'm out. Bounce. Don't even think twice. Don't pass. Go. Don't collect $200. Just keep stepping.
Correct. Absolutely correct. You worded it just right. Just keep stepping. Do not pass go. I like what IMFF said. He said, I don't think you're a cheater. I think you're a murderer. Think you might just be a person that might be a deleter.
Right.
He said, never ever give your passport to any foreigner, period. Your passport
and
your
Billy T is correct. That's exactly the way I was thinking. I was like, I ain't never had as many years I've been traveling, I ain't never had nobody ask me for my passport.
Yeah, he's sleeping with the enemy on that one.
No, I deleted the enemy and moved on.
That's it. Once again, shout out to Uriah over on the Rumble. We got 42 people over on Rumble right now waiting for us. He said, support Black male media. Comment on the Rumble and support. Yes, sir, guys. Make sure you put something in the comment section as well on the Rumble video. He said, great great info getting dropped. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, that was the whole idea. That was the reason why Dre asked me to come on this, is because he wanted me to share this, because this is, you know what, whenever you're in these countries, you have to realize that crime always revolutionizes itself. It's an evolution thing, and you just never know. This might be the start to something new. And think about it, guys. If they go and get a life insurance policy, you know they had to learn this from somewhere else. Let's be honest. The States. Where else do they do this? The States.
Yeah.
They do this in the United States all the time.
All the
time. Like Drake said, they always listening to what's going on. So we don't know what's going on. Like I said, I wasn't sticking around to find out.
I remember in Detroit, there was a brother that just came home from the military, and a sister deleted that brother for his life insurance policy. He wasn't even home 3 or 4 days.
And she got five. And look, she probably, because when you're in the military, right, that's a $500,000 policy. That's a $500,000 policy. And I'll be honest with y'all guys, even though, I'm still, I don't need insurance because I still got a 7-digit policy on me. So why this chick need a policy on me? You ain't my wife. You don't need no policy on me.
Right. And so it's those little things, guys, that we got to look out for. I'm going to say this again, guys. Not all, as you could tell, one of the reasons why we have the show, guys, is we want to showcase that not all women are like that. And we want to show Colombians that not all foreigners are like that. Not all foreigners are running around with a bunch of women. Not all Colombian women are running around with a bunch of men and they're taking your proceeds and they're trying to, harm or hurt you. As you guys can see with Andrea, and I see Andrea's friends are like that, and I see Andrea's family members. These are just, when I'm around these people, this is regular people that literally never think on the level of the ladies that we keep coming across on social media. I'll be sitting there, I kid you not, gentlemen, I will be sitting there and I will be watching Andrea's family as we're having, everybody's dancing and everything. And I'm looking at about good 50, 60 people, that beautiful women, happy men, children. And not one of these people ever thought about drugging somebody, hustling somebody, deleting somebody, drugging. So I'm looking at these people, like 6 years being around these people on a regular basis, never seeing that. The neighbors next door are the same people that were next door. They haven't disappeared because the police came and because they drugged somebody. So I'm looking at all these everyday Colombian people and families. Most of them don't walk in that world. So we have to ask ourselves, what is it that we need to become to get around or to be in a situation where the Colombians that aren't behaving like that are? Where, what do we need to be? And I think one of the things what Will has said is, A, have the ability to walk away if it's not working out for you, and B, just be patient. One of the things I can say about my uncle Ghostface and a bunch of other guys that I've met down here, my man Tay, my man Horace, and a bunch of you other guys, you guys are just patient. I know guys that have been down here to Colombia 3, 4, 5 times, and they aren't smashing everything that's walking down the street. They're just enjoying their trip, and they know that when they meet the right one, they'll meet her. And if they don't, they're still going to have a good trip. So they don't have to force feed it. And I think that's one of the mistakes that we all are making. Shout out to my man Silent Thriller in the building. My man 24 is in the building. Silent Thriller says this. He said there is a seedy world outside of the regular one. That is a good way of putting it. There is a seedy world outside of the regular one. Like we know that in Philadelphia, there's some things that's going on that's dangerous. Chicago, Atlanta, but yet we know that there are some great families and some great people in these areas as well. My man 24 says this. He said, greetings, glad to be here tonight. I'm glad that you're here, brother. Thank you for making it. And once again, guys, we're going to be doing a reaction video, 3 reaction videos, reacting to 3 videos or circumstances. The first one is right here. The brother that got deleted in Rio. Yes, that Rio in Brazil, bringing 3 ladies to his room. I don't know what he was thinking. A brother that got his situation, it looked like he got drugged in Medellin. We're talking about the past couple of days. As well as the brother that got, and this is the guy that actually got him right here on the video. He went back, this guy right here went back and got the video footage. So we're going to look at the video footage of when he got. This is the guy that got in Bogota. And so we're going to look at all 3 of those. Thank you very much thank you for Ronan being here. Appreciate you, brother, for being here. As well as my man GJ Dating is in the building. Yes, sir, Glenn, I see you. Once again, guys, so this was going to happen now. We're already kind of like landing the plane on Will's scenario, but Will, if you don't mind still staying with us as we walk through, you and I can walk through the scenario going over to Rumble. So you and I just stay where we are.
I'm on Rumble, so I can give you my insight of what I see if you like. So yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay, so we're going to start doing the reactions, guys, but I'm going to drop the link one more time for Rumble so you guys can go over there, and I'll drop one more link for the Patreon because we need 2 more people tonight to join the Patreon. Shout out to you guys. And right here that's the Rumble. So guys, go over there because we're on our way over there. Omar's already over there. Shout out to you being already over there on Rumble. We already have 31 people over there on Rumble. We got up to 42 people at one point in time. So make sure you guys go back over to the Rumble because that's where we're going to shut down YouTube. So it'll just be Facebook up and Rumble in a few moments. And then we'll drop this real quick, this Patreon. And then we're about to head over to Rumble. So we're about to shut down the YouTube connection in a few seconds. So if you're not on Rumble, you can't be mad at us because that's where we're all headed to right now. And then
I'm on there. I'm there already.
All right, let me shut down YouTube right now. See you guys over on Rumble. Yes, sir.